Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of September, in the year of our Lord 2014. And you're watching VaperScene here on Vapor Trails TV. Yes, you are. If you don't think you are, then you should be, really. Yeah. So, on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about something that happened in Exeter on Sunday, where one of our own had her e-juice confiscated by security. Yes, so there's been lots of to and froing of tweets and emails and telephone calls and all sorts. And I'm going to be discussing that with Mr. Tom Pruen from ECITA. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
And that will all be after you've seen my titles, which are coming up now. VaperScene is proudly sponsored by Health eVape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It is Tuesday. It's past 9 o'clock now, and you're watching VaperScene here on VaporTrails.tv. Yay! And I looked out of my back door at about 7:45, and it was dark. What's all that about? What is all that about getting dark at this time of night? Very soon. I think it's next month, isn't it? The last Sunday in October, the clocks go back. Doom and gloom and dark at 4:30 in the afternoon. What's all that about? Never mind. Anyway, we have got a lot to get through in this hour. Yes, in this hour, which I've finally got up to on the show. And we're going to start this week with a little story that happened on Sunday. And Lorien Jolly, aka Cerulean Sea, was flying to Paris for the ASH conference and tweeted that she'd had her e-juice confiscated. She said this: just had all my e-juice or my juice confiscated at airport. And many tweets ensued that evening and into Monday, and lots of to and froing with Fly B, who she was flying with, and Exeter Airport ensued. Now, I've got lots of those tweets, and I've put them together with a little interview that Nathan managed to get hold of from Exeter Airport. So have a look at this. And when we come back in about 3 minutes 20 seconds, I'm going to be discussing this with Tom. So enjoy.
We've obviously been trying to find out the reasons in behind the confiscation of e-liquid from Lorien C, who was flying from Exeter Airport to Paris. Now, we've spoken to a gentleman called Stephen Ayres at Exeter Airport, and this is what he had to say.
The e-cigarettes themselves aren't a problem.
Yeah.
It's the refills,
Right.
which is where there's a problem, in that they all have a skull and crossbones dangerous item on the label.
Yep.
So those, we do sell some in the shop, but some of them are, the liquid itself you can't get to because it's it needs to be attached to the cigarette. So
if something was filled, then that would be fine. It's
indeed,
just the
people have been bringing sort of an unscrewable small file, if you will,
Right.
that could be splash about and harm the skin of other fellow travellers. Because
Right.
if you read the sort of skull and crossbones thing,
Yeah,
it does say burns the skin. So I mean that's obviously something we don't want on an aircraft. But if it's a tiny amount within the cigarettes device, that's okay.
So you wouldn't allow then sort of an additional refill of say sort of 5 mil or anything like that, even if it was in the sort of undercarriage of the aircraft and not accessible by the person? Or is it just purely for hand luggage?
It's a hand baggage issue because it's then accessible during the flight.
Right, so if it was sort of, included in your luggage that goes in the hold of the aircraft, then obviously that's allowed because the passenger can't physically get to that.
That seems to be the thing. The trouble with these devices, they've come very much to the fore in the last while. And we, like many other airports in the country, are having to come up with policies fairly swiftly to deal with this. So it's not an Exeter Airport thing. It's a directive from the what's now the CAA,
Civil Aviation Authority.
Yes, but I mean, a few months ago we used to say that all rules and regulations came from the DFT, but now there's DFT rules, but the people that monitor our performance are now the CAA as of a couple of months back now. So
no problem.
But that's the gist of it. Exeter Airport not being difficult over other airports. It's just that we, like all airports in actual fact, are monitored, and we are doing the same as other airports should do.
Yes, interesting listening that, wasn't it? I turned up the volume slightly halfway through because it sounded a bit low, so I'm not sure if it was okay for you. But basically, Nathan was talking to this guy yesterday, and you saw there some of the tweets that had gone to and from between Sunday and Monday from Lorien and from myself and other people. And the CAA replied to me yesterday, and they said that the airlines are not prohibited from allowing the use of e-cigarettes on board. However, no UK airlines permit their use. Also, that passengers must obey the lawful commands of the captain and signs, including no smoking. Their captain's instruction. Using an electronic cigarette isn't smoking. I have to point that out for a start. And then finally, the last question I asked them was about the carrying of e-liquids in hand luggage, part of the 100 mils allowance. And they clearly say there, you can take e-cigarette liquid on board a plane. It is subject to the same restrictions and security scanning as other liquids. So basically, if it's in your little bag with the rest of your liquids, I guess if they really want you to show that it is e-juice or e-liquid, then you could vape some, because they do ask you sometimes to taste baby milk, all that kind of stuff. But the CAA don't have a problem, and on their list of items not allowed in baggage, e-juice, e-liquid does not appear whatsoever. They do say, if you look here, that additional restrictions implemented by countries may limit or forbid the carriage of some items in the interest of aviation safety. I don't think a bottle of e-juice, e-liquid, whatever you want to call it, is going to be a particular danger to aviation safety, is it? And it's certainly not going to burn your skin. Anyway, Mr. Pruen, what do you make of all this?
Well, it's pretty clear that they haven't got the faintest idea what they're talking about. It's not. They're blaming the CAA. The CAA is saying it's fine. So, it's pretty clear that they're wrong.
Yes, the strange thing was that Flybe were saying that it was down to Exeter Airport. Exeter Airport are saying it's down to the CAA. And I do have a statement from Flybe. Let me show you that. Here we go. This came in yesterday, also via Nathan. Thank you very much, Nathan. The press statement, 22nd of September. E-cigarette policy. Flybe is unable to comment on the incident which took place at security, as this is managed directly by Exeter Airport. It is Flybe's policy that e-cigarettes can be carried but not utilised on board the aircrafts. Due to hand luggage liquid restrictions, e-cigarette refills (brackets bottles of nicotine) are not permitted to be carried on board the aircraft but can be checked in as hold luggage. And that came from Andrew McConnell, Director of Communications. So Flybe is saying that you can't take e-liquid, e-juice, whatever you want to call it, in your hand luggage because it's part of liquid restrictions. But then the CAA is saying we're okay with it. So what do you make on that?
Well, pretty obvious someone's got it wrong. And you know, the CAA set policy for flights within the UK. They are the authority. So if the CAA is saying it's fine, then it's fine. And you know, we know the toxicity isn't that scary. Arguably, they shouldn't even have, you know, toxic warnings on. Especially not seeing as Lorien's bit of lung wedge at about 6 milligram anyway. It's, you know, a storm about nothing. Particularly seeing as they like to take on things like cosmetics, particularly things like nail varnish, which are actually quite nasty chemicals.
And of course, you've got the bottles of vodka. So if a child, for instance, got hold of even half a bottle of vodka and drank that, they would be very sick indeed. And that's say that again, Tom.
Or 30 ml of perfume.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, or a bottle of perfume. Yeah. And of course, perfume is flammable. And you can still take a normal gas lighter, one per person, in your little plastic baggie as well, which I used to do when I smoked. Take my lighter in your hand luggage, not your hold luggage. There is obviously the question of batteries, but the batteries are allowed in your hand luggage, but not in your hold luggage. And you'd be as well to make sure that you're keeping those in a sealed or protected case, just to make sure they don't come into contact with bits of metal and everything else, like happened at Vapefest a couple of years ago, where a chap had one in his pocket and his keys actually shorted it out, and it got rather warm down there. Yes, I can't remember who it was, but he was a bit worse for wear. Yeah. Anyway, let's have a look at what chat are saying. Yes, what are chat saying? What's wrong, Mr. Dibley? Mr. Dibley's saying something there, but I can't see what he's saying. Yes, chat is obviously a bit behind us, so it is difficult to keep up, I have to say. Yes. What do you make on the comments where the skull and crossbones is on it, and of course it causes burns?
Well, I mean, the idea it causes burns, I don't know where that came from, because you know, you can get mild irritation from PG if you haven't been sensitive to it, but otherwise it's pretty safe. A lot of packaging everyone still uses skull and crossbones because that was the way everyone thought it had to be. Although obviously we've got data now to say that doesn't need to be the case, but not many people adopt it. But of course, a lot of the things that go on planes that are dangerous don't have skull and crossbones anyway. Like cosmetics under the Cosmetics Directive can be fairly significantly dangerous and still not have the hazard markings on.
Yes, indeed. A lot of things can be classed as poisonous or dangerous to your health, including alcohol, which obviously they sell in abundance in duty free.
Well, the other one is if you took your 500 grams or whatever it is of loose tobacco and shoved it in the toilet sink with a bit of hot water, you could extract any amount of nicotine out of your life.
Yeah, it might make a bit of a mess. What do you think?
Well, yeah, but if you want to go around poisoning people, that's the way to do it. You can get a lot more nicotine on board doing that than you would in 100 ml of standard strength e-juice.
Yeah, and I believe that Lorien actually vapes at 6 milligram as well. So you'd have to ingest a hell of a lot of that to cause yourself any serious harm. And of course, we all know that we've got a vomit reflex, and we would get rid of anything. We'd purge it really, really quickly if we ingested that much.
Yeah, I mean, at 6 milligrams, you could not quite, but almost drink it. You can certainly rub it into your skin without any concern, because, you know, human beings make 6 milligrams per kilo. That's a lot of liquid. It's an awful lot of liquid.
6 milligrams per kilo.
Very conservative estimate, yeah.
Wow, I'd need a hell of a lot for me, wouldn't I?
Me too.
Yeah, we're both not exactly small men, so yeah, it would take quite a lot. I mean, you know, I mix my own. I mix from 75 milligram, and occasionally I've got a bit on my skin, and I've just kind of wiped it off with a tissue and not gone and washed my hands. And yeah, you do get a bit of a nick buzz going on. Dave Dawn put a whole tablespoon or a dessert spoon of juice in his mouth live on air. Yes, it doesn't taste very nice, but he's still with us. He's still alive and kicking and in chat as we speak. So, you know, most of us have got a mouthful of juice when we've pulled on it. In fact, Vapefest squeezed some juice into my little dripping atomizer and actually filled it. So I didn't look at it. I just pressed my button, off I went, and I got basically most of it in my mouth. And it was pretty dang disgusting, I have to say. And I had nothing with me to drink at the time. So I was kind of wandering around going, yeah. It wasn't very pleasant. But the whole thing... Say again.
Well, back when I started, I used to use an M401. And I'm sure the reason I found it so easy to switch from smoking to e-cigs was that every time I used it, I probably drank as much juice as I had. That was a 36 back in those days.
Yes, I've had my fair share, I have to say, and yeah, it's not very nice. But you know, nearly 3 years in, and I'm still here because I'm talking to you. I'm live. I'm kicking. I have blood pressure. So the whole thing about the chap's belief that it was corrosive, I do not know where he got that from at all, because I wouldn't have seen that anywhere on a bottle of juice. This is corrosive. Otherwise, what the heck would we be doing vaping on it?
Pure nicotine would be mildly corrosive because it's basic, but it's not even corrosive enough to be considered corrosive as pure nicotine.
So pure nicotine would be corrosive?
Well, mildly, but not. It's not CLP classified as corrosive.
Yeah, and of course, you know, we can't, as consumers, purchase pure nicotine, and you'd be rather silly to do so from other countries. Legal limit here is 75, isn't it? Yep. And anything above that you need a license for, you need to take all the precautions, etc., etc. But for the normal consumers, 75 milligram quite happily, quite readily, and use it with the cautions that we all know about them, then you should, really. Yeah, I think. What else? Now then, I did some questions earlier, so I'm just going to get my little sheet. Yes, so on last night's show, on Drips and Tips with Andy and Davey, they were discussing the labelling of skull and crossbones, etc. Do you think we still need to have the skull and crossbones on the juice?
No, not at all. You know, we went out and got specialist toxicological consultants to look at the classification and the CLP. Obviously, that's what's coming in 2015. And yeah, it doesn't even need an exclamation mark. Never mind toxic symbol.
But the
it still makes sense to have a childproof because children are much more vulnerable.
Yes, the childproof cap is a very sensible precaution, in my opinion. So is the raised triangle for visually impaired people. Just as anything else that could cause you harm has got the either the braille dots or has got the raised triangle to warn somebody. But I'm with you. I don't think we need to have the skull and crossbones emblazoned over it, at least not the concentrations that we're able to buy as consumers.
No, I mean, it goes to an exclamation mark at 2.5%, and the skull and crossbones at 5%, which, if you think about the concentrations you use on a regular basis, makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, there's a logic to that.
I think what we need here, and it's quite evident that we need this, is education at the places where people come into contact with e-liquids. It's clear that the airport doesn't know what it is really and what the dangers are. And if the CAA are saying that it's okay to go in the cabins in carry-on luggage, then why aren't the airports and the airlines getting that message from the CAA? It's in their regulations.
Yeah, I mean, the CAA set policy on this, and they obviously have, and they decided it's fine. So why one airport, one airline has got a problem with it? Who knows? I mean, I suppose part of the problem is that up until electronic cigarettes came along, the only real liquid nicotine that was in circulation was pesticide, which ran to about 78% nicotine.
Yes, and you can still buy that, can't you? Nicotine pesticides.
No, it's been phased out in the EU.
Say that again, Tom.
It's been phased out in the EU.
Okay.
I don't like to use nicotine as pesticide anymore. Mainly because it kills bees, I think.
Yes, and we don't want to kill the bees because we like the bees. We need the bees to pollinate our crops and all that and make us the yummy honey, what they do. So we need to be careful of the bees. And there's a lot of herbicides as well that they're phasing out as well, and the old DDT and all that kind of stuff, which was so prolifically used in the 30s, 40s and 50s, the old intensive farming. But now we're going back to nature, back to natural predators to fight a lot of the bugs.
And being a bit more clever with our chemicals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good point to go to the first set of ads. Yeah, and when we come back, we're going to have some more chat with Tom, and we're going to see something from Mr. Dibley. So let me just find my end of part one. There it is. We'll see you in about a minute and a half. VaperScene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
And now it's back to VaperScene on Vapor Trails TV. VaperScene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids. And welcome back to part two. Yes, and Tom and I were just discussing the whole situation that Lorien was in, and she was offered the choice bag into the hold, but of course she would have had her batteries in there, she would have had her juice in there, and other items that she probably didn't want to put in the hold, and they also informed her that her bag was fine to go into the cabin. It was just the fact that the e-liquid was in there. So yes, something needs to be done there, don't you think? Yes. So that being said, we're going to move on now, and we're going to have the first episode of mod, fix and turn from Mr. Gary Dibley. He's kind of introducing what this segment is going to be about and showing you some and then next week, I don't know, I'll know probably at the weekend when he sends me the video. Anyway, here is this week's first MFT.
Good evening and welcome to obviously VapeScene. This is my first little section of MFT within my new home, and what a home it will be. We're hoping it's going to pan out very well. What I've decided to do this week for you, because it was very brief with all the introductions and this and the other that was going on last week, to try and give you a full breakdown of what to actually do. So I've decided to show you through the M, the F and the T, and the F is nothing to do with fingers and the T is nothing to do with my dip. So yeah, we're going to break that down for you and we'll show you through the various stages of what we're aiming to achieve. I think I mentioned it in the video that I'm going to be relying a lot on you guys this year. I rapidly realised when filming this that it's going to take a hell of a lot of work, and in a way I'm so glad I didn't commit to actually putting out a show full time. I think I would have been failing on so many people if I'd have promised to do that, because I don't think it would have come together every week. The 20 minutes for where I am at this time in the moment, this is going to be this is where I am. This is perfect for me. So bear with me. We got lots of good stuff coming up, and I'm looking for you. I'm looking at you guys actually to give me some inspiration. I'm going to need it. Let's crack on with our first little video, and I'll see you back in 2. So we are finally back and on the bench. This time round, obviously with Marco from VaperScene, and thank you very much for having us. As you may have heard my little waffle a few seconds ago, we're going to be running you through what MFT will have in the coming weeks. So just to give you a brief overview of everything we are going to be doing. I'm going to start down on the bench. I picked this up at Vapefest 2014. Fabulous event. If he hasn't, he's going to be showing you his footage a little bit later. He may have already done it. If he did, fantastic. It was a good day all round. I was very surprised. I was busy beavering away, and I apologise. I apologise profusely, because I really haven't who come and handed me this box. But somebody out of the blue just turned up and went, Dibley, this, mod it. And I'm so glad they did. It is an absolutely stunning piece of craftsmanship. The detailing on here, which effectively would be a defect in the wood, just brings it to life so much. It is really nice. I love that a lot. We're going to be making this as our first project on this new little installment. Effectively, it's got a double sliding door. One side of it, this side particularly, has got the magnets for keeping the door in place, like so. This side I've got to fix. It's obviously made for a Vamo. I don't have a problem with the Vamo. Quite like the Vamo. The Vamo does good up to 20 watts. I just don't like it in its current shape as it is. They're good, they work, they work loose, they break, the pins claps and all that sort of stuff. But we're going to try and rejuvenate one into something that I believe is absolutely gorgeous. I know some of you are going to be going, why don't you make the screen bigger and put an SX chip in there and da da da. I'm going to make this for what it is intended to be used for. And we may even put this up for auction for the Children in Need raffle that is coming up shortly. Let me show you sort of how this is going to work and how it's going to come together. First of all, I'm going to have to, and only when I'm happy, get this side of it fixed in. it's got a nice big button, so I'm going to get some nice sort of stainless steel button in there. The top here, I'll show you where that comes into play in a minute, and obviously the screen's going to go in here, and we're going to have our up and down, do 3 watts it knobs or buttons in there. The Vamo, we're going to try and make the use of everything. I've taken the liberty of taking it down. I'm going to use this section in something that we showed you, and we're going to be turning on the wood lathe. A mod like this out of oak, probably a bit better. This was a little prototype we knocked up, and it was rubbish. So we're going to try and do something like that with the bottom half. The top half, which is effectively the main gubbins, which has got the board in, the buttons and all this and the other, and I've already pre-loosened this, the top cap. I'm just going to snip that off while I'm here. Might as well do a bit of prep work, and you'll see where this comes into play. I'm going to try and take the circuitry out in a minute, but the top cap, effectively this has been drilled out, so that should be able to, with some fine positioning, sort of sit flush down in there. I'm going to be showing you how to reinforce the connection on here, and how we're going to do that. Looking at this, I may have to do a little bit of jiggery pokery, because at the moment that is not sitting flush. I need to get used to using the camera again. Not sitting flush. It probably needs a little bit taken out on the inside on here to get that to sit flush. I doubt whether you can see it there. But obviously I can use the you know, the Ego type on there and all that sort of stuff. But we're going to get that sitting flush. There's a very small lip on this side when it's down in. This side's a flush, so it needs probably a little bit taken off the inside just to get it all nice and level. Not knocking the bloke who made it, but it will do. And I say, if you were the guy that come up and give me this, firstly, thank you very damn much. Secondly, it blew me away, to be honest. Somebody popping up and just giving me something and saying, "Do it, Dibley." Yes, so we're going to get our board. We're going to get this. I'm just going to, let me see if I can try and free a little bit of the board if I can. I'm going to use a Stanley knife just to go in and grip the plasticky bit that's got to come out. Let's try and give it a wiggle with my pliers first. See if I can loosen it up a little bit. But basically there's a, in here, we'll probably go into a bit more detail a little bit later, but there's a plastic insert in the back of these Vamos, down in there, that we're going to have to get out first. It allows it to drop ever so slightly. We can pop our buttons through, pop this through, slide the board out, happy days, Bob's your uncle, and we should be modding. So very, very shortly we're going to be focusing on this bad boy, getting it all put together with battery holders, with the Vamo board installed, and make that a working mod that hopefully we can put up to auction for the Children in Need charity. Cracking job. As I say, lots and lots coming up. Let's show you what we're going to do with some fixing. Which brings me on very nicely to our next little section, which is the F, which is the fix, and nothing to do with fingers whatsoever, as somebody kindly suggested in chat last week. My fingers are fine, and they are staying put for the minute. Let me just go down on this. This was another thing that I picked up from Vapefest, and effectively I was getting this randomly check atomizer. I've looked, and this seems to be, although this is the not so good version, this is a clone. It's yeah, less said the better. But there seems to be a common trend amongst this type of device, which I found was causing my problem. I'm not saying it is the problem across the board, but it was most definitely causing the problem on this particular mod. And I'm going to show you what that is. And there are one of two. I got my little tiny screwdriver. One of two ways of fixing this. I went for the easy option, and the easy option, bearing in mind Vapefest was well over sort of a month and 20 days ago. This has been going fine ever since. I've not had any more check the atomizer messages. I've got a relatively decent battery in there. I've got the eFest IMR86 53.7 volts 20 amp 3100 mAh batteries, and this little bad boy has been lasting an absolute bleeding age. It really has been performing well, but I'm not here to do a battery review. I'm here to look at what the cause of my problem was. If I can get a little bit closer, I will, but you're going to have to excuse me because I don't know where the point of my focus is, and there it is. This point here, which is the earthing point to the body, which comes off the, if you like, one of the points on the board, the negative point on the board here. As you can see, the glue in here is just shocking. Absolutely shocking. There's strands of it everywhere. It is just packed full of hot glue. Back in the day, if me and Mark would have used hot glue like this, we would have rapidly taken the mic out of each other very, very quickly. So for something to come out of production like that is just shit. Shocking. Shocking. Shouldn't use that word. But it works. At the end of the day, it works once I did something very, very simply. And it is literally this here. This earthing point, this screw point here, that the little earth strap goes into, that is covered in crud, was the problem. This earth point wasn't earthing properly. And I used a beepometer to, if you like, trace the root cause of the problem. Now you can effectively, this earth point here is going to the body. You can take this earth point direct, because effectively what this earth point is doing is taking the negative connection from the board here into the body. The body is making the earth against the of the atomizer connection, and it's doing that. I mean, realistically, one of the fixes you could do is take this off completely and directly solder it to the earth point of the ATI connection. What I decided to do was completely take this screw out, clean up the threading inside, and make sure the bugger was screwed home properly. I run the screw in and out a few times, literally run it in and out to make sure it's making a good contact. What's that? See, he's back 1 week and he's already muffling his words like a complete donkey. But yes, making sure this earth point is in, it's tight and it's good, and you don't get the check atomizer when you screw something on the top of it. There is a little tiny tip if you are having check atomizer connections on this type, and I have seen people that have had the same sort of problem with the original job as well as this version, which really shouldn't be there, but it is, and sort of have to live with it in a way. I'm just going to screw this back together, and I'm going to show you. I had another little thing that failed, which we briefly showed you, and it was my second most bestest find of Vapefest, which is the BVCs, the bottom vertical coil Aspire tanks, one of these bad boys. Now I'll move on to this and I'll show you something at some point, but these have a little spring point in them. I had this on another mod and I was getting problems again with direct shorts. Firstly thinking it was the pin on my mod that was shorting. It wasn't. It was this, and there is a very simple fix in this end here to rectify that. We're going to go through that at some point a little bit better. But these things are the donglies. I do like this BVC with my current favourite Strawberry Fields liquid. 5 ml of Strawberry Fields in there, happy boy all day long, I can tell you most definitely. But yes, a little taster of our fix section. If you've got a challenge, if you've got something you want us to do, let us know. Like I say, today is all about showing you where we're going to go and the sort of things we are going to do. I will be moulded by you if you choose to be involved, and happy to accept videos from anybody out there in modding land who would like to take part in this little section. We've got the turn in next. Be back in 2. Turning. Many things we can do on here. Excuse me. We're going to be looking at lots of different things. Obviously you can see what I've got strapped in here and the distances I'm working at away from a very fast rotating chuck that would take my hands off as fast as look at them. There's many more things we can do in here other than these things, and we fully intend to. If there's anything you would like to see turned, let us know. I'll be doing a few run-throughs. Like I say, we're going to be clamping a big lump of wood in here and trying to be making a mod with the remnants of the Vamo that we were talking about just a few seconds ago. Lots of things, lots of possibilities. Everything else, you know, if you want to know a little bit more about the details of the things we use, the equipment we use, that's what we're here for, and this is what really today is all about. I didn't want to jump straight in and go on and on and on and start a mod, etc. just for the hell of it. Let's show you a little bit of what we can do and what is capable, and maybe from there we can build a show. I'm going to need you guys to really sort of help me with some input in terms of what you want to see. And as I say, I'm going to be bringing in some guest modders to show you the traits of or the trades and of their skills as well. Like, you know, things like making the mod stands and wood mods and all that, because I'm by far I'm no expert. I do okay with what I do, but I'm by no means no expert and don't proclaim to be. So this show is for you guys, and whatever you want to see, we will do our best to do and bring you. I'm going to crack on with this bad boy. I'll probably chuck myself back to me in the studio, and hopefully next week we'll be cracking on with that little wood mod with the Vamo. Back to work. See you soon, guys. If you're waiting for blood, it's not going to happen. It might do. Stay tuned. And there we go. Hopefully that has given you a little indication of where we're heading and what we're hoping to do. There are lots and lots of things that we can achieve and we can look at and we can do. The making, like I say, I'm going to be kicking with that box next week. I've got lots of stuff to get, lots of stuff to bring in, and we will be taking that through step by step. The fixing, that was something that landed with me, that needed a repair when I got it, probably on the second day I had it home. And again, I had to do a lot of research. It was driving me potty, and it came down to one of the simplest things, which is an earth connector. We aim to bring that information that I can gather from forums, this, that, and the other, and put that out to you guys. The turning, love it. One of my favourite things at the moment is turning, and I aim to have a lot of fun on the lathe and showing you guys some of the things that we can go through. Lots and lots and lots. The possibilities are endless. Send me a challenge. You want to see something turned? We'll see if we can do it. I love it more on the hand lathe than the metal, because it is literally down to one man and his tool, which reminds me of my honeymoon. Probably shouldn't have said. I might edit that out. Anyway, I'm going to hand you back to Marco now, and the rest of the show. Enjoy. And I will see you next week. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Did you enjoy that? That was the first episode from Mr. Gary Dibley of Fix and Turn. Yeah, I've seen that a few times now, and it was really good, I think. So if you do have something that you need mending or modding or fixing, you can always email here, VaperScene at vaportrails.tv, or you can get us on the usual from the VaporTrails.tv Facebook page, or the Twitter, or the forum. Send us an email and we'll plug it Gary's way and see if you can mend or fix it or mod it or even turn it. Yes, so stay tuned for next week's show, where there'll be the next instalment of the programme. We're going to go to the last set of ads now, so the second break. When we come back, we're on Vapefest. Yes, Tom and I will reflect on Vapefest. See you in a minute and a half.
VaperScene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Vapers, do you love discovering new e-liquids? Tell Dripper the types of flavours you like and they'll send you 5 gourmet juices each month. Experience new and exclusive flavours, all with a money-back guarantee, anywhere in Europe. Dripper.co.uk.
iVaper and iVaper Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iVaper.co.uk and iVaper-elixir.co.uk. iVaper and iVaper-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of VaporTrails.tv.
And now it's back to VaperScene on VaporTrails TV. VaperScene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
And we're back in the room. Hello. Thank you for watching the messages from our sponsors, without whom we would not be able to put these shows on. So thank you very much to them for being with us. Yeah, and thank you as well for watching. Now Tom and I are going to have a little reminiscent time, yes, about this year's Vapefest, and I've got a bit of VT, which is just going to take me slightly over. So I'll play that in, and then we'll have the last minute to just to discuss it. So this is kind of my take on Vapefest this year. There's another video similar on YouTube, but this is a different edit. Yes, so here it is.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. How are we all? It is the 1st of August 2014. Yes, and what does that make tomorrow? Well, that makes tomorrow the 2nd of August 2014, and that means it is Vapefest. Yay! It is Vapefest 2014 tomorrow at 10 a.m. in Shrewsbury. So I'm setting off today, and I'm going to wing my way down to the showground, get some footage of the stuff beforehand, and then tomorrow, although the weather is not looking too cracking, unfortunately, we'll be Vapefesting. Anyway, I'm going to set off, so I'll see you soon. Bye. Well, as you can see, I'm 45 minutes away from the showground, and had a little sat-nav malfunction, if you like, because it set me on a toll road, even though I didn't want to go on the toll road. So I just shelled out £5.50 on the M6 toll, and now it is absolutely bucketing down, as I'm sure you can hear above my voice. Yes, so I'm hoping this is the only bit of rain that we're going to get, and the rest of the weekend stays fine. More soon.
and some black currant.
Go for it.
I think maybe we'll keep the aqua flavour development. What do you think? He's good at his job, but we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So, he's going to put a bit of VG and PG to get the VG stopped, so you've got to pour it quite slowly. That's a good tip for everyone. And then, are you going to go for more, or are you going to put some more? Okay. I don't know if that milk is going to give us enough for it, so anyway, you probably feel it in the audience.
Shaking already, I'm frightened.
It's going to be memorable.
Oh, it smells beautiful.
Smells like that.
I'm going to let you try first.
Okay, so this really is happening. We might be looking for some. We'll pass it around. We can inflict it on you.
Yeah, that's really going to serve us.
Well, you can inflict it on you.
We've got the other one around there, guys. I'd just like to say I leave all my belongings and things to my right.
Oh, dear. How was that, Arch? Did that have enough toilet?
Been here since about 9:15 this morning, and at 9:15 this morning it was absolutely tipping it down, which may have put a few people off, but hopefully it didn't. There's been many thousands of people here today. There's so many vendors and lots of juice. Decadent Vapors, as you've seen, has done a roaring trade and has been putting on some little demonstrations which people have really enjoyed. Nigel from T-Juice has been giving away, as he normally does, and had a lovely big tent, lovely big marquee. So there's been so much more space this year, and it's been really good fun. Gary's tips.
This is why.
Oh yeah.
You should kill Josh. I've always killed them.
There's the man himself. Hello, Gary.
Hello, how are you doing? Hello. Yes. It's been interesting.
It's been emotional.
It's been windy.
It's not just in the tent.
Yeah, that's in the tent. But, yes, good. It's good. We're going to have a look around later as well. So.
Yeah. Damn good.
Damn good. Damn good. Damn good.
Marvelous.
Good morning, good morning. It is Sunday the 3rd of August, the day after Vapefest 2014, and I'm sat in the car in Shrewsbury Town Centre just before I set off back home to South Yorkshire, having been back to the showground to pick up my beer cooler, which I had plugged in to the mains on Friday and Saturday with various beers and ciders and soft drinks to keep us all sustained during the day. So I've just picked that back up, and everything is now coming down. The marquees are coming down. So big thanks to the committee for doing a great job again this year. This was a fantastic venue. There's room to grow. I was talking to the guys this morning, and we're estimating somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 people turned up. And the weather today is so good. It's such a difference to yesterday. It's such a shame that we had the rain yesterday. It might have put a few people off, but all in all, once the rain had gone, it was a fantastic Vapefest. Everyone seemed to have a great time. The vendors had lots of space for their customers to buy stuff, and I think a good time was had by all, and I enjoyed myself immensely. So who's looking forward to next year? And now I'm going home. Tatty bye.
Wow, second show in and I'm already going over time. It's not good, is it, really? But you know, Tom and I waffled a lot at the beginning. So I hope if you didn't go to Vapefest, that might have given you a kind of a flavour of what went on the day. It was cracking time I had, and the guys did a wonderful job putting it all together for this year. It was really, really good. You got about 20 seconds, Tom. What did you think of it?
Excellent as always. You know, it's nice to go out and meet people, see what's new in the world of vaping, drink some drinks, and you know, it's extremely well organized.
Well, of course, you had your bar, didn't you?
Well, you know, it helps to be prepared.
Absolutely, yeah. And I should have come back beer on the Friday night, but I spent the Friday night in Shrewsbury with and Sarah. In the bar with loads of other people as well, which was rather nice. So I think I better wrap it up since I'm well over now. So thank you first of all to Tom for joining me today and for discussing the issues that we had seen over the past couple of days with airports and e-juice and everything. So thank you very much to Tom. And we'll just take that off because the internet connection has gone a bit weird for you there. Thank you all for watching tonight's show. Don't forget, tomorrow night it's Matt with the show with no name. Yeah. Thursday it's Dave Dawn with Keith and his Top Pocket. And then Friday, Saturday and Sunday you've got a bit of a break. But you can tune in to RY4 Radio, of course, every night of the week. Monday, the boys, yes, Andy and Davey are back with Drips and Tips and more shenanigans as well. Shenanigans on Saturday, don't forget. I'll be here next Tuesday with the second of MFT from Mr. Gary. Until then, my friends, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye. VaperScene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.